Hi everyone, I'm Sunny and welcome to this step-by-step demonstration for wax resist painting. To do wax resist painting, we really don't need very many supplies. We need a piece of art paper or stretched canvas. We need a brush. We need a palette of watercolors, and we need a small container of water to rinse our brush in. And we need at least one, but preferably more, wax crayons. In order to begin the process of creating our wax resist painting, the first thing we're going to do is get our paint palette ready. When you open your paint palette box, you will find the pans of color probably feel quite dry. And so we're going to condition them a little bit with our brush, dipping it into our little container of water, and then stroking the brush over each individual pan of color in our palette. As soon as you've stroked some water into one, you're going to rinse your brush, and then you're going to do the same thing for the next one. And then rinse your brush. And all the way down the line on our color palette, rinsing between every pan of color so that we don't have muddying of the pigments. And at long last, we're going to get to the very end of the palette, and our paint palette will be ready to go. You can use almost any subject for your wax resist painting. You might want to draw a flower, a butterfly, a bird. You might want to draw a little still life. Or you can go with something very simple, like a heart or like a geometric shape. Because words are a popular emphasis, and we all have something to say. Today, I'm going to demonstrate very simply these techniques for you using a couple of simple words. One of my favorite phrases is begin anew. And so the very first one I'm going to demonstrate is an extremely simple example of the word begin. You simply take your wax crayon in hand, and using considerable pressure bearing down, you create your word or your image on your art paper or your stretched canvas. Because, as I said, I love the word begin and the phrase begin anew. I am simply, in very simple block letters, going to write the word begin. You may have a favorite word that you'd like to use. It can be a mood word like joy or like peace. It could also be a word that's inspirational like try or effort. Or it could be a phrase that you find inspiring or that you think others might find it inspiring. So as you write this word or make this image, make sure you press very firmly with your wax crayon. I very often press so firmly so that the paint will bead up well that I feel quite a bit of pressure here in my arm. So I have now completed my simple word begin. If you need more time, you can simply pause these instructions, or you can go ahead and continue to listen to the instructions all the way through as you create a more elaborate design. In the interest of just demonstrating what wax resist is and what it does, now that I have completed my word, I am going to take my brush out of my rinse water cup I'm going to stroke it over a pan of color. In this case, I'm using orange. And I am going to stroke that paint right across the word that I just wrote. If you are using a word or short phrase, you will do the same. Of course, it's also the same technique if you're stroking paint over a design like a heart, a flower, a butterfly, a bird, whatever it is that you have chosen to draw. It takes a little bit of courage to just stroke right over that crayon. Many people feel like when they do that, they're going to blur the entire image. But actually, because the crayons are made of wax and the watercolor is water-based, the wax crayon resists the paint. So you can see your word or image right through the paint. Here is a very simple one, just the word begin, stroked over with orange watercolor. So that's the first word in my favorite phrase, begin anew. And if you want to go a little bit more elaborate with your design, you can use more than one color of crayon to create your word. My second word, anew, I am going to use more than one color of crayon and more than one color of paint. Because we are trying to make our instructions brief, I will not do cross-hatching and designs and loops and lines and things inside my lettering, although you very much could do that if you wanted your words to look really, really embellished. In my case, the word anew, which is nice and short, is just written here in plain block form, but instead of stroking only one color across it like I did with the orange for the word begin, I have chosen to use several different colors. And so you might also choose to make your design a little more elaborate with lots of color and lots of strokes. Even a rainbow type effect is possible. So moving very quickly, here is my second word, which is anew. So we have very simple begin, very simple anew, and of course, the more time you have to work or the more sessions you have to work, the more elaborate your words or designs can be. Don't forget, you can also use the wax crayon as background. You might want to have a bold word or phrase and then a background of vines or other kinds of curving lines. You might want to use circles. You might want to use tiny triangles or squares or some other geometric shape for your background. You can leave your word or phrase just emboldened against a plain white background, or after you have done your wax resist with your words, you may want to fill your background with half a dozen or more colors. The choice is yours. I hope you enjoy the wax resist painting process. I know you have something to say. I can't wait for you to use art media to express it. Enjoy.